Making money in a crypto bull market like the one we're in is easy. Making life-changing money does require certain skills though. So instead of actually telling you guys what to do every time we want you to do something, we figured that a much better approach is to empower you with your own skills so that you can make your own calls. And so today, we are going to empower you with the basic skills to do charting. All you need to join the stream is TradingView and nothing else. We're not going to take any money from you. We don't want anything. The only thing we want from you guys is some crypto love. So if you want to join today and you think this is a good thing that we're doing, smash the like, smash the subscribe, smash the share, and join us on this amazing journey. We're going to make you guys into charting masters. Our sniper, Sheldon the sniper, is going to teach us all the tricks of charting. Now, the reason why we did this stream was because every time I watch Sheldon, he makes it look too easy. I see his charts, I see like this chart over here, and there's a trend resistance line and there's a support line, and he makes it look so easy. The problem is that when I go home and I try and do this on my own, my lines go the wrong way, I start at the wrong place, I don't know where to start the lines, where to stop the lines. And so what we decided to do today is to take a break from our normal charting, and we might actually even talk about some of the charts. But today is actually about teaching you guys, and me actually, how to chart. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in the master, the sniper himself. Sheldon, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, and yourself? Doing very good.
Good to see you, my man. So good to see you. I've been so excited for this. I'm so excited because, you know, I'm going to make a confession here. I've been trying to chart for years. Like for years and years and years, I've been trying to chart, and I don't know how to do it. So what I've done, as you can see, is I've booted up my TradingView over here. And hopefully today, by the end of today, I can do this. Now, the comments are going mad. The comments are going mad. Let me mention, guys, if you don't know about the Banter Bags, well, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And I'll tell you why you got to do that. Because we are giving away the biggest giveaway in crypto history. Maybe, if the market carries on, this might be one of the biggest giveaways ever in the world. Yeah, I said that, ever in the world. Why? Because we took $10,000. We put them into what we called the Banter Bags. What are the Banter Bags? Pre-market allocations of all your favorite tokens. In fact, Fred, don't be shy, man. Call up that spreadsheet. Show the guys how well we're doing. So we took $10,000 and we put them into the Banter Bags. We invested in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got $1,000 left. And right now the Banter Bags are worth $356,000. So you want to get the Banter Bags? Simple. All you need to do is sit on your sofa. That's it. Sit on your sofa. And then hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share, invite people to watch our streams, give us crypto love, join me on Twitter, join Sheldon on Twitter, join our Telegram group. Every one of those gets you an entry into the Banter Bags. And when we get to 250,000 subscribers, which may be in less than 80 days, that's less than 3 months, you could walk away with your share of $3 million or whatever the Banter Bags are worth. So if that's not the easiest way to make money in crypto, then I don't know. Then you guys are doing it wrong. Cool. So let's get Sheldon back and let's get on with today's show. Sheldon, cool. So you know what to do about, right? Today we're starting from scratch. Like scratch. Like I don't know how to chart. I'm going to follow everything you do right here on my TradingView. And I'm actually going to share my screen every now and then to show you what I'm doing and tell me if I'm doing it right.
Perfect. No, that's great. So what we are going to do, we are going to need some more parts to this later on, definitely, because we are going to start from the beginning. You're going to have some practice, get some practice going at home, and we're going to keep touching up on it so you can understand. But the main thing to just see on Matic, do you see the power of these trend resistances when we actually get the true break? You can see how early we actually catch before the volume comes in. So this, my opinion, my problem is when I started trading, I needed to live off of it from day one. I needed to make money off of it from day one. So I needed something simple. I needed something easy, and I need something that would just work and give me a basic understanding without having to try to figure out how this whole thing works, because it's scary. I know it's very scary for a lot of people. So let's start fresh. So the first thing, obviously, once you have gone into TradingView, and let's just see if I can take me to the main starting page. So you can see once you've opened a trading account, this is basically what it's going to end up looking like. Okay. You're then going to want to come into your chart section. So you can select your chart section on top over there, and you will see that it will automatically have a whole bunch of shares. It'll have Apple, it'll have a whole bunch of coins here. You need to erase that now. So you can see there's a little X button here on the right here. You need to delete everything over there because you're going to restart it now. You're going to start building your portfolios, your sorts and categories on which coins you're going to be trading. We went through it the other day. You got your HODL. So when I'm trading HODL, I have a HODL portfolio so that whenever I just want to go see how's my long-term investments doing, I can jump into that HODL portfolio. And the best way to do that is if you click on the top over there, it will tell you a watch list. That's what it will be called. But if you go in there, you got the section called a create new list. This is where you are able now to take there and to say, I want to do my investment portfolio. And this is where all your investment coins are going to be. So you can now create that portfolio. There we go. And I can now create that new list. And you can see it will come up with the empty list. And you got this little plus section. So when we're saying you need to get into Bitcoin, you can then go to the top over here. Remember that this trading view is charted through all exchanges. It's linked to all exchanges. So just remember that if you are trading on BINANCE or you're trading on Kucoin, whatever coin that you are trading, make sure that you are choosing it to that exchange, because it's, remember, each exchange has their own sort of value of the coin. They're very different, very little at times, but they are different, and you don't want to get...
We'll get to that. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So there is my screen over there. In fact, what I'm going to try and do is actually make the text a bit bigger for you guys. Hold on a second. Let me zoom in, and let me zoom in again, and let me even zoom in again so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. But I'm creating my second portfolio, and this is called 10x gems. This is not my HODL portfolio, and I press enter, and now I have a portfolio here called 10x gems.
Exactly. Then you got your little plus button over there where you can start adding in your coins now.
Okay, so the first
for the first example, let's do Ethereum, because Ethereum broke all-time high. Bitcoin's broken all-time high. It's exciting. So let's just put Ethereum as the example, and you can see now Ethereum. You can see all the different exchanges over here: BINANCE, BYBIT, Kucoin, Huobi. Just make sure that you are selecting the one to the exchange which you are trading off of. So we always use BINANCE. So there we go. I've selected BINANCE, and you can see my coin has now appeared at the top section over there. And this is where you can just load your lists. So now we can go Litecoin, USDT, as an example, to the Binance. You can see how we start loading our coins. So this is already a big thing for guys to do, Ran, is to split them up. You know, remember, we got some trading portfolio, which we're going to play with on the side to make some extra money. We got our HODL portfolio. We got our micro, our smaller sort of sections. This is a nice way for you to create your categories for all your coins, and you can basically then categorize them for yourself, which is nice. So it's important to just categorize so you know when to jump in and have a look at your things.
Okay, so now I've put on a few coins. I've put on Bitcoin. I've put on Ethereum. I've put on some other coins that I'm doing. Let's see what else, what I need to do from there. So I've got my watch list.
Awesome. So you got that. You've created your list now. That's good. Now, what I'm going to teach you guys today, we're going to be using 3 tools. You guys can see that I don't use moving averages. I used to use them a lot in the beginning. Why don't I use moving averages? Because they're lagging indicators. They give you the information when the data is already done. And this is where I love the support and resistance, because it gives me a lot of an earlier sign. So the first thing that I want you to do is there's a little box here with the F and an X, and it's called indicators. You can see that it says indicators and strategies. If you click on that over there, okay, I need you, the first one is we are going to do volume. So if you have a free account, you are allowed 3 indicators. If you want more, you then have to just pay the fees. I think it's a monthly fee for the next versions. But the first one you can see that I want us to load is volume. And if you see, it's the third one over here, volume. And what I want you to do is click that little star that's next to it over there. So let me just erase those. There we go. Click your star. You got it. And then click on the volume. If you click on the volume, it's then going to bring it up over here on your left-hand side. So let me erase these here. There we go. So now you can see there's a little I button there. There's my volume indicator there. If I click that I, there's my volume bars. So now you can see I got my volume bars. If I click that I away, that's nice if I want to clean up my chart. So that's the first one I want us to load. The second one that I want us to load is called the RSI, the stochastic RSI. So if you type in RSI, you will get the stochastic. You can see it's the fourth one to the top. Put a star and select it as well. And if you select it, it will then, I see I already got two of them. Just erase. There we go. And you will see that you now have your stochastic RSI that will pop up at the bottom. So that's the two that we got so far. And after that now, this is where we're going to start getting the understanding of support and resistance. Because remember, there's two basic ways to understand the market. Firstly, if the market is trailing in either direction, it's actually simple for me to monitor it. The simplicity of understanding higher lows, higher highs already gives me an indication that we are trailing in an upward sort of market. So what I like to do, and the best way to sort of explain this, I'm going to start off with horizontal lines first, because as much as you guys always see my trend lines, my true power also comes in my horizontal lines, understanding that we are passing levels. So what I mean by that is, if we have a look, I'm going to draw two lines, and what usually happens is we will see a coin that's basically just either come down or come up, but it starts to get to this sort of choppy little stage, okay, where it starts to quiet down. We've seen that many times where it quiet downs. Now, what I have is I have the top, which is my resistance. I call it my roof, the roof of my trade. That's a price that we have been getting to, and we have just not been breaking through. So it's showing me there's a lot of selling pressure at that zone. So that becomes a key base for my roof, if I could say, which is my resistance. Okay, then I like to track the bottom as well, which is my support. Now, if I show you guys on a basic coin here quickly, just to show you what I mean from this is, okay, let's make that bigger. There we go. Okay. Now, the best way to explain this is if I've just opened up my chart. Now, first thing, I know you did ask me, Rand, so that we don't confuse too much as well, is there is time frames on the top over here. So if you click this little downwards arrow over here, you will see all the time frames that come up. And whichever ones that you want to stay on the top there, you must put a star. So the most basic ones that we must use.
Let's look at the basics. So what are those time frames? I mean, I understand that those are the candles for 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, which kind of means that the movement that the token makes in the 15 minutes, either up or down by a certain amount, and nothing in between would be the 15-minute movement. The 30-minute movement, there's nothing in between, but every 30 minutes tells you how much the token's moved up or down in the last 30 minutes.
Exactly. So what you are selecting with the time frame is each candle is that time frame. So if we select the 5-minute candle, it means each candle is going to be 5 minutes, and it will show you whatever's happened in that 5 minutes. Now you can see that there's always a starting price to a candle, and where it starts off, it can go down first and then it can go up, and this is where the wicks come in. But when the candle closes, whatever percentage or wherever it closes, it will then start the new one next to it. So we can see here clear. So just to quickly basic this as well with time frames. What time frame should I be using? Which ones? Now, for the very, and especially if you're new, if you're experienced, that's fine. But for the very new guys, you need to move away from the smaller time frames unless you are practicing. School fees money, put $10 in, play around. That's where you, because it doesn't matter what time frame we're actually in, the same patterns play out. They play out on small time frame, high time frame, all of that. Now, how does that work now? Now, if you want to be a daily trader and you want to be trading in the day more active, this is where we are using the 15 minutes, the 1 hour, these sort of ranges. Why? Because I want to see what's going to play out for the day. That's it. I don't want to see what's going to play out by tomorrow. I want to see what can I trade today? What can I make money today? And if we look at the 1 hour, the 15 minutes, it gives us enough data to make the decision for the day. Should I be holding this coin for the day? All of that. So it's basically shrinking it down that I want to trade today. Now, if I want to trade once a week, I want to trade through the whole week now. This is where your 4 hours and your 8 hours come in. Why? Because I want to see the data for the week. I don't want to have to sit tonight and have to go sell. This happens when you're busy or you're working or you have these sort of things. So I want to jump to the higher time frame. Is it safe for me to hold this coin for the week? And that's when you play with the higher time frames. Now, if you're an investor or a much longer term trader, that's where the daily comes in, the 3-day chart. So that's how you sort of understand the different time zones that you should be working in. If you want to be trading actively using smaller time frames, if you want to be trading once a week, twice a week using the 4 hour, the 8 hour, and if you want to be trading for the month, 2 months, 3 months, you're using the daily and the weekly candles, the weekly time frames as well. Just remember, each candle is formed to the certain time that you are choosing. So you can see there's a timer over here on the right. So we can see that this candle, each candle is over 4 hours. And we can see here that there's still another hour and 40 minutes remaining of this candle. And once that closes, the next candle will start. So now that we got that, nice and basic, nice and simple. So let's go back to the basic understanding of where I was getting. There we go.
Which chart are you looking at there? Because I want to actually look at, let's work on the Bitcoin chart, because I think that's the one that most people are trading. So I'm going to click on the Bitcoin chart on my side, and you're going to click on, you got the Bitcoin chart on your side, and your parrot is very interested in this charting, as we can hear. All right. So now, tell me what time frame I should be looking at. Let's say that I'm an investor. I mean, I don't mind trading in and out, but I'm an investor. What should I be? What time frame should I be looking at?
Between 8, 12 hour and daily. So it depends. Like if you're an investor that wants to hold 3 months, 6 months, you're looking for investment that I have some extra cash. I want to put this cash into something for 6 months and I want to make a good return. That's where you're jumping obviously to the daily. Now, remember that we are active traders. So I have been jumping to a lot lower time frames to go see what's happening in there, because what we don't understand is if I'm on the daily and that's one daily candle, okay? A lot happened in that daily candle. So if I want to zoom into that one daily candle, I can jump into the 1 hour and I can go see what exactly happened in that one daily. So I can actually zoom in, because there was actually a lot more that went on in that one single candle that you then saw. So for an investor,
I think for the sake of our market, which is mixed between slightly longer term investors and slightly shorter term investors, let's play with a 4 hour chart.
Yeah, 4 hours, cool. That's no problem. And that's one perfectly that I still want to show you guys chillies. So let's jump back to, let's get a basic understanding quick. Yeah.
That's my screen. They look more or less the same, but now you've got a whole lot of fancy lines. And I guess you're going to teach me now how to draw those lines and where I draw those lines.
Exactly. But before we start that, the first thing that I need to show you, what is support, what is resistance? That's the main sort of thing. And you get two forms. You get the trend lines, which we like to narrow the trade down to give us an early decision to know if we're going up and down. Remember, this is a non-prediction strategy. It doesn't matter if the coin wants to fall all the way to fall 50%. It doesn't matter. I'm going to know when to buy back in. It's not me not predicting the market. It's a tool that I can use to make money. Now, the first understanding is what is the main thing of support and resistance. And that's when a coin has come into a certain range and it's starting to make a sort of, call it a sideways channel. We'll get to the trends now. But the main thing to understand is we have something called the roof of a trade and we've got something called the floor of the trade. And that just shows you that there's 2 points. Where was the lowest point? So if I go back to that ZOL and I go there we go. So if I've just jumped in now and I'm looking at this trade, okay, I want to go see, let me just clear up here. There we go. Where was the nearest high to me? Where was the nearest low to me? What's that going to do for me? It's going to give that range that I was just been speaking about. So what I do is if you go to the left here, the second column to the bottom, you got something called a horizontal ray. Okay. And what I can do is I can go take the nearest low to me and I can take the nearest high to me. And you remember what I just said? What have I actually done for myself? I've given myself a floor for the trade, the nearest low we've just had, the nearest I've given myself a ceiling. Now, the ultimate rule at when we are trading is we always want to be buying the floors and we want to be selling the ceilings. That's the basic understanding. Now, with support and resistance is your support will always become your resistance and your resistance will always become your support. And what I mean by that is if I make this bigger, so what have I done for myself? I've given myself a range. Now, why am I doing this? Because I want to see which one we break. Okay, so if the basic understanding is when we come down, I always want to be buying the bottom zones of my supports. These are my buying areas. And when we get to the top, these are my selling areas. But what basically happens is we first want to see how we react at that zone. What I mean by that is when we are trailing downwards to my floor now, what are we actually doing? We are creating a trend. We are creating momentum downwards to that line. So now that I've set the floor of my trend and I've set the ceiling of my trend, I have a structure. Now with that structure is I need to now detect the momentum that we are moving in. And how do I do that? A simple line can detect the momentum that we are currently running in. So we can see how we are running down in this momentum. All I do is take a trend line and I track the top of that momentum. Now remember, a trend line and putting a line in place. Yeah, go for it, Ran.
I've been following what you're saying, and I'm charting the Bitcoin chart. Okay, and I took the nearest high to me, as you can see, and I took the nearest low to me, as you can see, and I've drawn these resistance lines. And it looks on my chart like Bitcoin's just broken my resistance line. So theoretically, what I'm waiting for it to come back and retest before I buy to make sure that this is a real breakout?
Yeah, you wanted to hold that level. So what that means is now you have now broken your ceiling. You wanted to come down and hold that level. So if you jump back, I quickly ran to my screen so that I could show you. So firstly, all that I did here was trailing this downwards. Okay. And let me actually jump to the Bitcoin here so we don't confuse. There we go. You're on the 4 hour there, Ran, or the 1 hour?
I'm on the 4 hour.
4 hour. Cool. There we go. Okay. So if I now delete everything, there we go. Okay. So what did we have when we started? We had the previous high, which was that zone. We then had the previous low, which is basically that zone. Okay. Now I'm lying. It's this one there. There we go. Okay, cool. So the best way to put this is, it's like climbing stairs up and downwards. So what I actually want is when I break, and this is what I meant, when we break a resistance, we want to make it support. We then want to go the next level. But now this high that I am making right now becomes my next resistance. So now that I broke a previous resistance line, which was good, I need to make that the new floor of my trade. I need to make that the new low of my trade. Meaning that we've broken it, we need to come and test it as support. And then what's the next step again? We have to break the next high. Because remember that we started off with a support and a resistance. Now we've broken resistance, which means this support is no longer valid anymore. What should be my new support? It should be the new one that we have just broken. So now that we have broken through that zone, I want us to come and test. And then what's the next goal? I have the next resistance. So do you see how I'm actually tracking it, that I need it to flow in this motion? Every time we break a resistance, it must become support. And you can see how we start making this ladder sort of form of us making our way up. Now that's the basic understanding of how we should be passing these levels. Now, the best way to use this strategy with trend lines now is, what is a trend line? A trend line is not a horizontal line. It's tracking momentum. And what I use a trend line for is I track the bottom momentum and I track the top momentum to get us to a sort of narrative point. But if we get a breakout like this, I would have already known that this should have been my resistance line, meaning that that was the trend. That was already an early signal for us that we were going to break out from Bitcoin, was the fact that we had one. Remember, a trend line is active with 2 points. You just need your trend line to touch on 2 points, and it's an active trend line. Now, you're going to have many trend lines that you are going to play with as you go, but I want the one that's very obvious. And you could see here that the fact that we didn't make the higher high the first time, I knew we were going to go down. So what that did for me is it gave me my first point, and it gave me my second point, which was great. Now that we have broken up to the upward side, I don't have any more resistances. I have nothing now to tell me. Yeah.
Sheldon, look at my trend line and tell me, have I done it correctly? Is that okay?
Exactly.
So it's because we're starting different exchanges that it looks slightly different.
Exactly.
But I've got
now, if you take a horizontal ray there, Ran, just go to the second column there and choose a horizontal ray.
Okay, hold on. Let me get that horizontal ray. So I go to here.
Just click the arrow next to it. There we go. Horizontal ray. Just go down. There we go. Cool. Now that nearest your second point on your trend line, your second one, that one. Take the top of that wick and draw that line, a horizontal ray. There we go. You've drawn it now. Now you see how between the trend line and the horizontal line, do you see how it's giving you a main support area? It's giving you a main area that is the level now we need to hold. We should not come back into that. So that already helps a person know that my stop loss should be trailing under that zone. It already gives me an area to know that if we don't hold that, we are going to come back down to the next supports. Where can the next ones be? They can be all the way back down. If I can see, okay, let's jump back to mine there, then I can show you. But what it means is my screen back on there, Ran?
Yes, it is.
Cool, thanks. So as you can see, that gave me my main area. There's my main zone that it's now given me. I got that wick, I got that wick. It's like walking stairs. If I just broke through a level, I need to hold it. Once I've held it, I need to break the next level. Once I've broke the next level, I need to hold it. And you can see how we start making that momentum. So we know the critical area for Bitcoin to hold right now that we've had this push, is between the 61,000 and the 61,500 mark. That's a key level for us to hold right now. And how do I track that? How do I also use that to my sort of, just delete here. So this is what I'm saying. There's going to be a few parts, guys. Bear with me, and we're going to work through this as we go, and we're going to start making it. But that's already given me a main zone that we need to hold. So already as a trader, I know my stop loss needs to be in this level. Why? Because if I am not holding these levels and I am not doing this basic strategy, I shouldn't be doing this. If this trend comes down, I shouldn't be coming back in. Why? Because then it's not a flaw. It's showing me it's not a strong place that we are holding. It's a fake out, 100%.
So it goes up and it comes down. That's a fake out.
Exactly. So they're there to trick you that we're going up, and then it holds. So that will already give me my early indication that we should not, that we should be where our stop loss zone should be. Now, if we don't hold that level, and let's say Bitcoin now comes down and it breaks back in the zone, this is obviously where I want to be stopped at. Now, how do I know where's the next levels that we can be trailing back downwards to? Is my next support zones, meaning that I can go take. So remember, when I take a horizontal support, when I use these lines, I use closing candles, use it on a 4-hour and use it on a daily chart. So you can see I can take that previous high, a previous resistance is my support. So I can take that zone, and that if we don't hold that level, there's the next point that we can bounce. If we don't hold that level, there's the next points we can bounce. I don't know which one it's going to break. Now, this is where the key aspect of using a trend line is beautiful, because what the trend line will do for you is you don't know where it's going to bounce. You don't know how far Bitcoin's going to go down, but it is going to start a trend. And what I mean by that is it will make its way down. It will start making lower highs, lower lows, and it will start trending downwards. Now, I know that these are my support zones. I don't know which one it's going to hit. Now, what is my way to track that? Is to be taking a trend line, to be tracking that momentum downwards. I don't know which one we're going to bounce in at all. But when we are finally getting to a floor, we are holding a level and we break my trend, gives me the indication that this is the bounce zone on where Bitcoin is going to be bouncing.
Okay,
now,
hold on. Go back. Show me where you broke the previous trend. I want to see how you would have drawn the previous triangle to show me where the previous trend was going to be.
Okay.
Sheldon, this is invaluable, my friend. I mean, people pay thousands of dollars for courses like this.
We got this. We got this.
And you're giving it to the community, and you're giving it to the community for free. Guys, if you're watching this, smash the like, because no one in the whole of the crypto universe is going to give you something like this for free. For free. Okay, now, I get it. Tell me why you drew your trend over there. Why didn't you go to April the 4th or April the 5th when there was another high? Oh, because it's not a high.
Exactly. Okay, Exactly. So remember, as long as we are making lower highs and lower lows, we are still trailing downwards. So if we then, let's say, let me just use this for example here. So
do you go to the high first or to the low first? Which one do you start with, the high or the low?
Yeah, so obviously when we've just come off a rally or any sort of move, we'll have a strong push to the upward side or the downward side, it doesn't matter. But we will then hit the peak and we will start this sort of choppy sort of phase to the downward side. And that's where I can obviously track it. So you want your highest point that you have taken. And then what is the indication? Remember that when we were trailing upwards, there was the previous low. Oh, let me just make that. There we go. There was the previous low. Now we made another low. So we first rallied upwards. We made a strong high. We came down. We made a higher low. That's the main thing. Good. But what's the point? What needs to happen after that? a higher high. Did we make the higher high? We made no higher high. So now I know that that becomes a key point. That second point where we didn't make the higher high becomes a key point for me to track where the top of my range was to the second point we didn't break the higher high. And that then gives me my trend line. It gives me my main point for us to be taking. Now, for example, let's quickly jump into Chili's here. It needs to be in your face sort of thing. Now, remember that, and something that I want to teach you guys, sometimes these coins rally too quick and too movement. You can see I don't like taking the tip of these points anymore to that because that would have given me a super sharp sort of trend line. It's not accurate. What is the main rule? That when a coin has just come off a main strong move up or downwards, it needs to consolidate first. It's not just going to recover and just bounce. So when a coin has done something like this, I know it needs time. It needs time before I'm touching this coin until I can actually see an obvious trend. I'm not going to just jump in now because that's giving me no trend. It's giving me no obvious. Remember, it needs to be obvious for me to take this trend. And look how after time, it started to give me a beautiful trend. I knew we needed to accumulate sideways for the next momentum move to the next one, for the next move upwards. And what did I do? It gave me my first point, second point, third point, breakout. Now we have finally gotten our breakout. Now, what happened previously was it tried. We went up. We never got the higher high. It came back down. We tried. We never got the higher high. We came back down. Now, what have we done for the first time? We have made the higher high. Exactly. Now, whatever your resistance is becomes support. So now that it broke that high, it doesn't just go. It first comes down and tests support. So what that does for me now is, let me just make that bigger. There we go. So what that does for me now is I also have my horizontals, the way we spoke about earlier. Where are those highs? Now, if I show you that I just took that closing 4 hour, where did this price just hit? Literally to the cent, literally to the exact spot of where you can see that. Perfect. So now what it's given me is my trend. We are coming to test a support, which is great. And I have my horizontals. Now, how does Sheldon get his zones? How does he get these sort of areas? Is I mark these up. I mark these levels up on where we should be bouncing. But I also know that we shouldn't be coming back into my trend. So this one, my eyes, is not valid. It's because we are going to be making a lower low. We are going to be coming back downwards to the zone and we're coming back into my trend. So where is my obvious area? Is these points. That has to be my bounce zone. That has to be my zone. If not, my stop loss is there. And guess what? I'm ready to go back in action and I'm ready to go get the next levels and the next levels. I'm not a prediction trader. I have a strategy. Yeah.
Look, like the bird in the background, I've got a very small brain, so I can only absorb small things at a time.
Exactly.
And so what I said, let's leave it at that for today. And so my homework today is I'm going to go and draw a couple of these trend lines. Tomorrow, when we come on, you're going to give me the coin. You're going to give me the time frame. And I'm going to have to draw the trend lines and the horizontal lines. And we'll see if I do it correct. And then we'll get on to lesson number 2. How does that sound?
And then we'll continue from that. Awesome. Yeah, baby steps, baby steps. Don't rush. Just go do these, guys. Just go practice a little bit of trend lines and those supports. When you start off a trade, jump in and go from that. Awesome, man.
Listen, guys, we're with you the whole of the bull market. And this is going to be a long bull market. Bitcoin is now breaking new highs. Coinbase is listing. We've said this is going to be a bull market. We're going to be here with you the whole bull market. And we don't need to get all the skills in a day. We want you to get the skills to practice and practice and practice like I'm going to do today. And then we are going to come back tomorrow and make sure we're ready for lesson number 2. Now, I know some of you are looking at this and going, you know what, we know how to chart. And actually we called you to, we wanted the calls for today. So big surprise later on today on the show. Not only will Sheldon be doing charts, but we also have Rudo back. I don't know if you guys remember Rudo from last week. And he's got some really amazing charts telling us where Bitcoin's going and where this trend's going. And then I am finally going to start revealing my portfolio to you guys. I've said it before. I've been holding off on revealing my portfolio. And today I'm going to start a 3-part series where I start revealing my portfolio and the thinking behind my portfolio. So not only am I going to tell you what coins I'm holding, not only am I going to tell you what percentage of my portfolio those coins make up, not only am I going to tell you why I bought each and every coin, but I'm also going to tell you what I paid. So you're going to know what my average cost is for each and every one of those coins. That's happening today at 10 a.m. EST. Don't miss that. Sheldon, my friend, we'll see you back at the main show, 10 a.m. EST. It's been amazing. I can't wait to go and practice and draw some lines. I'll see you again later, my friend.
Awesome, buddy. Cheers, everyone.
Ciao. Okay, so basically we take the trend line and okay, let me delete the screen line. And then there we go. All right, so guys, I've got some homework to do. I need to go home and do my homework. I'll see you again, 10 a.m. EST. It's going to be a huge show. We've got Rudo, we've got Sheldon, we've got calls, we've got a market update. And I'm taking off my pants. I'm showing you what's under my pants. I'm showing you my portfolio and what I paid for the tokens. Hopefully that'll help you guys in structuring your own portfolio. So I'll see you guys again in a few hours. I'm Crypto Man Run. I'm signing out. If you're trading, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.